Hey everybody, I promised a few of my cookie peeps that I would walk them through the Pico Pocket Projector, how to get it set up and going for work with cookies. And so this video is for them. It's also for those of you who do cookies and you're hearing about this Pico Pocket Projector and you want to know if it would work for you. And it's also for those of you who don't make cookies but you just want to know why all of those who do cookies are talking about this little thing. So here we go. This is the Pico Pocket Projector, and cookie people use this for projecting images that they want to put onto their cookie from their mobile devices or computers or memory cards onto their cookie. And this little thing does it. Okay? So here are the buttons, and this is the one that turns it all on. So you just push and hold that and the power would go on. And then these are your buttons that will move you around the menu of the Pico Pocket Projector. There's a little navigational screen there in the beginning with tools and stuff. But really, while you're using it to do cookies, the only button you're going to use is the turn on and turn off. And on the front here also is this very simple little toggle, and that's your focus. It's a little sensitive, but once you get it set, it holds its position, so you're fine. Now going around the device on the sides, here we have the power plug-in, and you're going to just, that cord comes with it, and one end goes in here, and the other end is a USB connector, and you're just going to put that into one of the Apple charge units that then plugs into the wall. And so you'll know it's plugged in and charging when this light goes on. You'll know you have a good, everything's plugged in right and stuff when you go to plug it into the wall and this goes on bright red. So we've got, that's where we charge it. And here, both here, this where it says USB, and here where it says SD card, those are for using memory cards, or there's ones that plug in with USB connectors, and there's the card that just slips inside. And so if you don't want to use your laptop or a mobile device, you can put the images onto those memory cards and then put it directly into this machine, into the projector, and it will read them from there and you can do your work from there. But because I have all those mobile thingy buggers, I've not used it that way yet. These two buttons really don't matter to us who are using it for cookie decorating. One is obviously for headphones, and I believe the AV end is if you want to do audio, have speakers, like if you're going to use it to watch movies and stuff projected on your wall with your family, or if your husband Skypes it for the ball game, that's where the external speakers would go into. It has a little speaker inside, but I mean, you'd have to have the whole family with their ears leaning into this thing to really hear it. This is the piece that's important to us. This is where the mini end of the 8-mini HDMI goes. So the mini goes in there, and then the big end, the regular sized HDMI, will go into the adapter, which I'm going to show you in a second, which will then go into your mobile device. If you're using a laptop, the mini end will go in here and the regular end will go directly into your laptop. Your laptop should have a slot for an HDMI cord, okay? And then that's all you need. Alrighty, so we've seen all the sides. Oh, and right here, when the device is turned on, that light goes green. And at the back here, this is what we're going to twist into the tripod mount, and that's going to hold it. So did I show you everything? I'm just looking around myself. Yep. And here is the lens, and so the projector lens, so obviously that's going to be facing downward, which means you're going to be working with your device upside down. But you're smart, you can figure that out. Okay, now that I've walked you through a little tour of the unit itself, let's go ahead and get it hooked up. I've already mounted it, just screwed it on to the tripod mount, okay? I know you can do that by yourself without my help. I believe in you. All right, So it's all set up. The lens is facing downwards. Okay, so the writing on here is upside down. And I'm going to go ahead. It comes with this cord. This is your charging cord, the power cord. And I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. This end plugs into here, into a space I already showed you. And if you were paying attention to the first part, you would know where it goes. All right, and then the other end has a USB connector, and that gets plugged into like the Apple wall mount chargers. Okay, so if you're using a Samsung or something, I don't know what you use for that. I know just what I use. So, but I assume you can either use an Apple charger, or if you have something else with your Samsung that has a USB, plug it in, or you can plug it into a laptop and charge it that way. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we've only got a couple other pieces that we need to hook in, and this is the mini HDMI to regular HDMI. Okay, and this end, the mini, goes in here. And now if I was using a laptop, I would just plug this directly into my laptop and I'm done. That's all that I need to hook up. Okay, but if you're using any sort of mobile device, you're going to need to have an adapter because at least Apple mobile devices do not have, or tablets don't have, a HDMI slot in them. So this one has an HDMI slot in the end, and then depending on which kind of connector that you have in your iPad or iPhone, which depends upon what model it is, you're going to have the connector that goes right into your device. So I have a newer model of phone and a newer model of iPad, so I just have the Lightning connector. If you have an older model, you might have the 30-pin, which looks exactly the same, except it's just, it's just longer, it's wider. Okay, and they make one of these for that too. So here we go. This is plugged in here, it's plugged in here, and now this is going to plug into my iPad in the only place it can plug in, and that's where I would normally plug it into charge. And now what you need to keep in mind is while you're using this, while you can keep that charging up and into a power source, you can't charge this up. So make sure before you start your cookie work, you've already got your iPad completely full of juice and charged up and ready to go. You can't see it, but I'm going to go up to my projection unit and I'm going to push the lower left-hand button. It's one of the rectangular ones. I'm going to push it, and when I turn the power on, the charge light goes off because now it's no longer charging, it's in use, even though it's working off the power of the wall unit, so you're not going to use up the battery. But the charge light goes off and a green power light on the top of the unit goes on. What we have is an upside down image. And so we can easily fix that in the Pico menu here. And we're just going to go to this one with the folder. And I'm going to use the round buttons on the device to scroll my way to where I want to get. When I punch this, it's going to open a drop down, and one of the words on there, the choices will be projector. And then I can go in and just by tapping the buttons, you'll see me flipping through different orientations until I get to the orientation we want, which is reversed, upside down. So I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to highlight until I get to where I want. And now I'm going to go to projector, and I'm going to start clicking until I get the orientation that I want. And there we go. And then I don't have to push any buttons. If I take my hand off of it, it will choose that. Now I could go ahead and take images from my, I could just go now to my iPad and start working with it, except that I don't like to do it this way. I don't like to reorient the projector this way because you have to do it every single time, and it's just a lot of clicking the button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and put it upside down again, as if I had just turned the power on. Okay, the only thing I need to do is I need to tell it how the image is coming into it, and it's coming into it through an HDMI. So I'm going to go here to the connectors, and I'm going to highlight the HDMI connector. And again, it will find it, and it went directly to my iPad, which is plugged in right here. So yes, the image is upside down, and I'm not going to work that way, but I'm going to be using my camera Lucinda program. I'm going to open up the image that I'm going to be working with, which is Elmo. Okay, so you can see Elmo. He's correct here, but again, he's upside down here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to make him upside down on my iPad, and now he's the correct orientation for me to work with. So I'm going to be making this little guy right here. Now I could have taken, you can see that this is an image that I traced with pencil. I didn't have to do that, but something that I like to do, it's easier for me, is I first trace the cookie cutter shape onto a piece of paper, and then I trace my image onto that. And that way, when I go to set my cookies down, I'm immediately centered. I'm just lining it up with the outline of the cookie cutter shape. And so that means if that line wasn't here and I was just taking an image and projecting it, I would kind of be doing a little of this each time to get it where I wanted. And instead, plunk, it's all set up and ready to go. So I'm hoping that what you're seeing is the same image that I'm seeing. And by that I mean the outline looks as clear and as strong as if I had actually drawn with a pencil onto the cookie itself. It couldn't be better than that. I'm just going to go ahead and do a little of this to show you. It's just so nice because the line is right there. As it happens though with this design, I'm not really locked in. I'm going to be using black over the top of this to outline it wet on wet, and so it's not, I don't have to have the outline perfectly at this point. But you know, when you do a character cookie, you got to make it as close as you can to the real thing because kids will hold you to it. If you're interested, this icing is a little bit thicker than flood consistency, but not a whole lot. In fact, if I was wanting to hold a tight line, I probably would have had it be a little bit thicker, but I wasn't worried about that, so I went with a thinner icing. And typically I would be probably working directly straight over it instead of kind of off to the side like I am so that you can see. And I typically squeeze with both hands. So there we go. And then I'm going to use, I've got a number 1 here. I've got number 1 and a number 2, and I know the difference because the number 1 is always with a yellow clip and number 2 tip is always with the blue. So I'm going to go around and just do the outline. I'm not going to do the eyes because they're white and the nose until this is dried. Not only because I want to avoid any chance of bleeding, although, you know, knock on wood, that's something that I've never really had a problem with, but because I want to get some dimension with those. Let me just get the little mouth here. This is kind of the speed I usually work. I mean, this is such an easy design that I can do it pretty quickly. And then I'm going to fill in the mouth with the number 2, which has crusted in a little bit. There we go. Okay. So once this is dry, I'll come in and put in the whites of the eyes and then drop a couple little candy balls in there for the for the black part. And then when that's dry, I'll put on the nose. And actually, I think I did 2 layers of orange. One I got on there first, let it dry, and then I put another layer on top because I really wanted his nose to pop out. Okay, I didn't want his nose to pop out, but you know what I mean. And I think that's it. So when you go to turn the unit off, you just hold that rectangular button in. It'll ask you, are you sure you want to turn it off? And you click it in again and hold it, and the power goes out.